Behind Dutch headlines, the who, why, and how of politics and media.
Hi, it's me, Greg Shapiro, the American Netherlander. Here's what you need to know to join the Dutch conversation. Internationals! I have been traveling all over this great country of ours doing comedy shows, but if there's one thing that we internationals have in common, it's that we don't know or care that there are two big elections coming up in which we can actually vote. Now, in this episode, all I'm saying is, if elections were held today, the one big winner is the guy who describes himself as anti-immigrant. So if you haven't thought about voting yet, you might want to start. And let's check in with the Dutch News Top 4. Yes, I said it, Top 4. Let's see. The one that I would like to focus on this week, Rotterdam. They want a quota on Eastern Europeans moving into the city. Of course, since the 1st of January, new EU rules are that Romanians and Bulgarians are free to emigrate within the EU uncontrolled. Yes, it's scary. According to Rotterdam, the Transylvanians are coming. Meanwhile, another headline, the total number of Romanians and Bulgarians who have moved to the Netherlands as of the end of January, 224. So, Rotterdam, relax. Now, for some reason, everybody's still kind of panicked about this immigration news. Why is that? Well, there's one guy that seems to be taking advantage of the hysteria, and it's the guy who might be a bit of an expert. His wife is from Hungary, and that's in Eastern Europe. Or as we say in America, no one likes to close the door quicker than the one who just got in. Now, Den Haag City Council, 45 seats and 4 major players to keep an eye on. 2 men and 2 women who could hardly be more different. I'd say they have all the ingredients for a really terrible marriage. But let's start with the 2 women. Of course, currently the biggest party on City Council in Den Haag is Labour PvdA, and their lijsttrekker is Jeltje van den Nieuwenhoven, who has lots of experience in national politics, culture, and the arts. And the other woman from D66, she is Ingrid van Engelshoven, who was a former party chair and is the current deputy mayor in charge of education and culture. If these 2 women would pick the movie for Valentine's Day, it would probably be Sense and Sensibility. And now let's check out the guys from VVD. There's Boudewijn Revis, an officer and a gentleman who did time for the Netherlands in Bosnia. He is all about keeping liberal red tape away from these working families, and specifically with parking permits. He wants to make sure that if you buy a second car for your family, then you can park it for half the price with your parking permit. That's nice. And PVV, Leon de Jong, as in Young, he wants to keep the Netherlands tuigvrij, wants to remove the harness and unleash that horsepower. If these 2 guys were in charge of picking the movie for Valentine's Day, they'd probably skip the movie and stay home to watch Top Gear. Now, who will end up in bed with whom? Well, don't forget, if the PVV ends up on top, then this guy is going to want to join in the fun. And these 3, 4, 5 ways might be normal in Amsterdam, but what will it mean for the international image of The Hague? Now, with that in mind, let's check in with our European correspondent, Wietse van der Gaast. Wietse.
Well, Greg, The Hague is internationally known as a peace-loving city. Which brings me to the classical book of this week, War and Peace, also by Tolstoy. Starting on the war side, Vladimir Putin is enjoying some R&R at his Olympics in Sotchi, where he has been seen in the Holland Heineken house drinking a beer and hugging and kissing Irene Wust, a known LGBT sporter and most successful Dutch Olympic ice skater at the Olympics. Another very successful sporter at Sotchi is this guy. He won gold in the halfpipe. Case in point, the Swiss just passed a referendum limiting the number of immigrants allowed into the country. Now Swiss, if you don't like immigrants and you don't like guys with names like this, give back the gold. I know the Dutch wouldn't mind adding it to their medal score. Other news on the peace front is coming from The Hague, where in March we will have the Nuclear Summit. An event that could actually bomb if this guy gets elected into the city council. Because if a picture of Putin hugging Wilders, nah, nobody wants to see that. Actually, the only good news these days is coming from outer space. Yes, people, from outer space, where the Chinese have put the moon back in the picture. Who didn't shed a tear last week when the Jade Rabbit the one-piece moon discovery machine, was tweeting his final emotional tweets when he came to what was thought to be his final destination. Well, good news! The Jade Rabbit is back on track. And you never know, this story might even turn into a love story. Because who a better partner for a tweeting piece of equipment than a talking doll? And in the US media in recent days, Barbie has stood up for herself given the controversy concerning her photo shoot for Sports Illustrated. Now with the Jade Rabbit and a talking Barbie, as a couple, we might actually see space bunnies. Now with that thought, I leave you, and next week more serious news from Brussels.
Thank you, Vita. And before we go, I do want to announce my total bias in the upcoming elections. Yes, it's true. Internationals, I am putting my money where my mouth is, or my mouth where my heart is, and I'm taking part in the elections coming up. I'm an actual candidate for D66 for the Amsterdam City Council elections in Amsterdam. It's crazy, I know, but here I am. I'll be taking part in a couple of events coming up. So internationals, if you want to know more, on the 28th of February, there is a book release based on all of these stadsgesprek meetings with prominent internationals. 28th of February is also a West Wing evening. Yeah, I said it. West Wing evening organized by D66 Amsterdam. I'll be appearing there as well. And on the 6th of March, I'll be taking part in a debate on Amsterdam city politics at the Expat Center at the VTC in Amsterdam. So we hope to see you at all of those. Check the links below. And until next week, thank you very Dutch.
Behind Dutch Headlines.